What if I told you there are a few painfully horrible truths about men that you must know before dating? What if I also told you these truths are so graphic that they will shock you while simultaneously enlightening you? If you're smart enough to know that learning this before having to experience this will save your life, then join me on today's show where we'll be discussing 7 harsh truths about men I'd share with you if you were my little sister. That way you can be armed with information that could possibly save your entire dating life. First things first, encouragement versus empowerment. So the rest of the show, I'm going to talk to you as if we're really brother and sister. See, the new concept in today's world that we live in the modern age is that you are equal to the men in the sense that you're just as smart, you're just as intelligent, you're just as capable. You can do a lot of the jobs that the men can do. That's great. That benefits the world and makes the world a better place. I agree with that, and I think you're an amazing sister and capable of so much. However, there's a very important concept that I want you to grasp and wrap your head around that will actually show you how men are using that against you to have you benefit them and actually you end up losing. You have here the men are trying to encourage you to be or empower you to be equal to the men. You're just like the men. So you want to know one of the really sneaky things that they will tell you, hey, because you're equal to men, you should act as the men do. And you want to know one of the main things that men do? They sleep with whoever they want to sleep with. They have one night stands and they're fine. They go here to one party, they sleep with whoever and they're all good. They're not attached. They have a thing with this girl while having a thing with this girl, while having a wife, while having a girlfriend, to the point where you start saying to yourself, if all of these other men can do it and they're, okay, they're fine, they seem to be able to serve themselves and not care, why should I care? I should be more like the men. And you want to know what the men say in today's society, sis? This is the trick here. They say to you, oh yeah, you be more like the men. Yes, I encourage you. I encourage you and empower you. You're just like the men, okay? You're so equal to us. You sleep with whoever you want, whenever you want, however you want. See, but here's the trick. They're pretending to empower you to be equal to the men. But what they're actually encouraging you to do is they're encouraging you to sleep with men for nothing, okay? You want to know why this is a really good thing to encourage you to do? Because when you're convinced that you're doing it of your own free will, of your own volition, because you're equal and just like the men, do you want to know what happens to them? They no longer have to be in a position where men used to have to be in, which is to coerce you or convince you to sleep with them because they want this so badly. Instead, you feel like you're doing it because you're one of the guys. Okay, right? So they also empower you that it's your body, your choice, which it is, which is why, sister of mine that I love so dearly, this is a very graphic conversation we're going to have, but I love you and I care about you and I want you to do well and not fall for this trick because this is true. It is your body and it is your choice. But what you don't realize is they're not saying this to empower you and make you feel great about the world as it currently exists. When they emphasize this to you, what they're trying to do in the process of making you feel empowered is to not vet the men that you're sleeping with. You want to know why that's so great for them? Because if you can spend less time actually thinking about the decisions that you're making and who you're deciding to let into your body and who you're deciding to bring close to you, the energy you're allowing to be literally inside your womb and inside your spirit, that's more beneficial for the men. Because then they come along into your life and once again, without you ever thinking of consequences or your future happiness or how this actually affects you, this interaction that you're having with this man, you're convinced that just because you feel some vibes and you want to sleep with him, that you're just like the men, you don't have feelings, you can detach yourself, and you can sleep with whoever you feel like sleeping with. It sounds great, and they empower you to make you feel like you're making the right decision. But once again, you end up realizing only after the fact of sleeping with him that this is a bad choice because they use what you thought was empowerment to encourage you to sleep with men for nothing and sleep with them without even going through the process of vetting them. Vetting who they are, vetting what they're about, vetting what their motives are. And when you make that decision, you end up feeling empowered in your decision. And you want to know what happens to him? He gets to walk away scot-free, making you feel like you slept with him on the first night because that's what you wanted to do. But you want to know what happens after that? He ends up withdrawing himself or going about his life how he was going to go about it. It's just instead of him having to explain to you why he's abandoning you or disappearing on you, he gets to make you feel like you made the decision that you wanted, and in the process of that, it just happened to happen. They empower you to make you feel like that you're always right. Meaning, they're empowering you to make you feel like you can't make no wrong. In fact, I don't even want you to start to think to yourself that there could ever be a bad decision when you make that decision. Why? Because when you do this, they're simultaneously encouraging you. Okay, I couldn't fit it all in there, okay? They don't want you to think of the consequences. They don't want you to realize that when you sleep with a man, and that guy has ulterior motives, or he's not invested in this relationship, or that he's just going to abandon you or playing a role here, that you're not going to realize that the process of you making this decision will eventually have you in a place where you feel horrible about yourself, where you feel taken advantage of, where you feel icky because you just spent this time with someone that clearly doesn't care about you, doesn't want the best for you. In fact, in some cases, you've just laid yourself down with someone who actively hates you or is disgusted by you or has little to no respect for you. That would make any human being feel icky and disgusting. But they don't want you to think about that. And I'm telling you, this is your big brother. I'm telling you this in this age. This is what's really happening. They don't want you to think about that. They just want you to be convinced that you're a hot girl, capable of making any hot girl decision that you possibly can. When you make those hot girl decisions in the moment without ever thinking about the consequences, they benefit, not you. That's the craziest part about the empowerment versus the encouragement, is that it feels like they're telling you you're doing a good job by making a horrible mistake. But they never tell you the backside, which is that it's a horrible mistake. Because the things that serve you in a relationship, right, and in love and in life are different from the things that serve a man in love, relationships, and in life. So when they encourage you to be more like men, and you feel like they're empowering you to live in the ways of the men, be detached like the men, sleep with whoever you want like the men, you don't realize they're not encouraging you to do that because they actually care about you or your empowerment. They're encouraging you to do that because in a lot of cases, that benefits him, because who is one of the first people you're going to sleep with, when he's singing your praises and telling you how amazing it is to sleep with whoever you want, whenever you want? You're more than likely going to sleep with the person that's close to you, or he's hoping at least. And then he can win, get what he wants, and make you feel good about it in the process as if you made that decision. It's very next level. And in our modern day society, it's a different type of manipulation that the men in the past didn't have, because society was different, and society wasn't encouraging you as much to see yourself as an equal to the men, right? See, it's funny because they use something that's meant to be good and meant to actually bring more positivity to the world to actually get and extract something out of it. Number two, sister of mine, I want you to understand, men will always convince you that they're doing things for you for the purpose of being nice to you. You're here, and let's say he's over here. In between you guys, we're gonna put a box. We're gonna label this box friends. Let's say that this box here is the box that you're capable of observing, right? So you're observing that his intentions towards you are that he wants to be friends with you. Now, here's the really horrible part about men that I need to help you understand. Within this box here is actually something very hidden and secretive, okay? And we're gonna call inside this box here, we're gonna call this box here the secret desires. Now, here's the thing. In this visual here, you can't see the secret desires box inside the friendship box. Why? Because you're not meant to see the secret desires box, because men don't want you to realize that the reason they're going above and beyond for you, or they're trying so hard to maintain this friendship out of you and him, is not because he cares so much about you guys being genuine friends together. It's because he has a secret desire to either progress a relationship with you romantically or to sleep with you. And this is the thing about this box. This is the interesting part about this box. This box here will only present itself to you, right? It'll only come out to play if you give him the opportunity to see that this is his time to shine. And so a lot of men, for multiple different reasons and multiple different ulterior motives, will keep this secret box hidden from you until he sees that this might be the opportunity where he can actually show you his true secret desires. So there's different ways when men will keep those secret desires hidden underneath the box of friendship, or we should say inside the box of friendship. One of those examples is when a man asks you to be friends who was either once your ex or someone who you tried to build a romantic relationship with, but because of the ways that things couldn't work out, because of, things that may have transpired back and forth, for whatever reason, the relationship didn't work out. The romantic relationship didn't work out. And then these men will say, hey, you know what? Let's not worry about the romantic relationship anymore. Let's be friends instead. So you're probably thinking, well, Tomisin, that guy had an opportunity to date me, so now he just wants to be friends. He's made how he feels clear. Wrong! Little sister, I'm telling you, it's wrong. What's really happening is this secret desire here, underneath the box of friendship here, is that he wants to keep you on the back burner, understanding that he could possibly downgrade you from having to invest in you like a boyfriend would. And if you guys can become friends instead, maybe he can get you to continue to sleep with him, continue to utilize you as a girlfriend when he wants to, okay? You're like a fill-in girlfriend. Like they have portable houses? You're like portable girlfriend, right? He can call you up on a hotline and order you to his house when he feels like having a girlfriend for a couple of days. But he can keep you as a friend, even though his secret desire here is to have you like a hotline girlfriend that he can call up for a couple of days, right? And so that's one of the examples of how men will fake their friendship with you in order to pursue an ulterior motive. And the other way is for men to tell you that they're only, talking to you, they're only being nice to you because of friendship, right? And because they want this friendship so badly, when in reality, the real reason they're doing that is to eventually get the opportunity to either sleep with you or have an opportunity to build this relationship if you don't want him. And so the reason I say that is because I don't want you to get tricked into thinking that men in your life who are going above and beyond, doing things for you, being overly nice to you, trying so hard to maintain and keep this friendship is simply because they want to be friends. Now, I'm not saying you're not such an amazing person that men wouldn't want to be friends with you or people wouldn't want to be friends with you. But I want you to understand men do not go out of their way to invest heaps and heaps of energy and time into women they have no investment into. And what I mean by that investment, right? They don't see it ever going anywhere, or they don't foresee themselves having an opportunity that they would want to take. And what I want you to get smarter at and more educated at is understanding how friendship a lot of times will benefit men in a way where they will still have this open-ended opportunity that maybe things could change, or maybe they could get something out of this friendship and receive something while you get nothing in return. So I just want you to be more aware of that as my sister, so that you're not out here getting played under the box, under the umbrella of friendship, okay? Let's hop into number 3, isolation. Let's look at this scenario right here. So you have the man over here, and let's say we have you right here. And beside you are all of your beautiful and amazing friends, okay? F is for friends who do stuff together, okay? So you have all of your friends over here. We can even add in these circles some fam as well, okay? So think of all of these people around you that are in this circle over here. We'll imagine all these people as your support system. These are people who love you. These are people who care about you. And we'll even add here, these are people who are platonic friends of yours. Not friends with ulterior motives. These are like girlfriends of yours. Okay, so this is your support system of people who love you, cherish you, and care about you. Then you have the man over here. What you need to understand is, my little sister, there will be some men that you meet in this life, in this dating life, okay, that will attempt to take you away from your support system and bring you over here where you can be beside him. Let me draw this better. In isolation, away from all of your friends and family. This is not an accident, okay? The reason they're doing this is because when they can take you away from this support system, you lose your ability to be grounded as a human being. What does being grounded as a human being mean, little sister, you might ask? Being grounded as a human being is your ability to have happiness, right? Your ability to stay sane, and your ability to have people around you who care about you that can advise you or speak up when they see that you're not in line with where you're supposed to be in life. People that from an outside perspective can let you know when you're slipping, when you're wrong, or when you're off. This is a very important thing to have in life because none of us are capable of existing in isolation without our support system. We all need that. But it benefits men to take you away from that support system because when they do, they can treat you however they want to treat you. And it will become increasingly, and let's even say exponentially, more difficult to identify mistreatment, to identify disrespect, and to know how to deal with it accordingly when you don't have that support system to advise you or ground you. Simultaneously, this man will also become your sole source of happiness and your sole source of feeling loved. Those are very bad because when he becomes your sole source of happiness, you find it way harder to walk away from him, to leave him, or to say no to him when he tries to lead you astray or ask of you something that makes you uncomfortable. Because you start to feel threatened anytime he asks something of you and you say no to it. You start to feel like he might turn away from me, he might not like me anymore if I tell him no, or he might not want to be my boyfriend anymore. And you know why that benefits him? Because then he can put you in a position where you don't feel comfortable speaking up for yourself. He's your sole source of happiness. He's your sole source of even feeling loved and cared for. We all need that in all facets of our life. We're all not capable of existing without that. So when he becomes this sole source of happiness and love for you, you have nowhere else to turn. That puts him in what I would call to you, little sister, that puts him in a situation, a position of leverage, as we would say. Because he has negotiating leverage to say, if I ask for anything, if I say anything, if I do anything, you will not speak up for yourself because you have nothing to speak up for. What are you going to use as leverage? That you'll walk away? You'll walk away to what? You have nothing. It's just me and you forever. And you'll start to feel like there is no way for you to get out of a situation, even though you can identify that the situation doesn't at all benefit you. So, little sister, the best thing for you to do whenever you're in a situation like this, or whenever you see a man is trying to isolate you away from your support system, is to say, swiper, no swiping. You're like Dora the Explorer. Swiper, no swiping. I will not abandon my friends and my family and the people who have been here before you and have loved me unconditionally to build my life solely with you, and take away all my time and energy away from them and only care for you, only tend to you, only be around you. Never, little sister, will you abandon your girlfriends for a man. Never will you abandon me or the rest of our family for a man. When a man comes into your life, I'm not saying that you ignore him or not spend time with him, but you make him, build him in and bring him as a part of your life, but you also make sure to prioritize the people that were with you and supporting you before that man ever came into your life. Even if that means sometimes you have to say no to that man. Tell him you're unavailable at this time. Tell him you can't answer him at this time. Even if it's an emergency, you have to put your foot down sometimes and say, no, this time is for my family. This time is for my friends. This time is for my support system that loves me and cares about me, because they need some of my time and attention as well. It's not just all about you and what you want and me being with you in isolation. When a man can isolate you, that's when he can take really, really good advantage of you. Point number 4, lottery ticket love. So let's say you have a lottery prize, which is $1 million. Okay? And playing the lottery will give you an opportunity to win this lottery ticket. Let's say you say, oh, I really want to, win this lottery. So then you say, I'm going to spend $10 on a lottery ticket, okay? Right? And then you say, well, I really, really want to win this lottery, and I want to give myself another opportunity to win this lotto. So you say, I'm going to spend another $10 on this lottery. And let's say, for the sake of example, that this lottery throughout the, let's say, week gets upped to $1,500,000. And then you say, but wait. If I get one more lottery ticket, maybe I'll have a better chance of winning. And let's say, again, at the end of the lottery, there's so many people playing this month that the lottery gets upped to $2,500,000. So you say, I'm gonna get me one more lottery ticket. Nah, never mind, I'm gonna get 2 more lottery tickets. Let's say the lottery goes by and you lose out on this lottery. Oh, you lost this lottery, oh my God, and you spent all this money. Okay, you lost the lottery, but you tried your best and it was really good. But let's also say, when you lose this lottery, that you lose the lottery by a single digit. One number. Let's say your last number was a 4 and you had a 3. And you lose the $2,500,000 lottery by a single digit. And you're like, oh my God, if I would have just got one more digit different, I would literally have this money inside my bank account. So you want to know what you do the next month when the lottery is $3 million. You say, I'm going all out and I'm buying myself $1,000 worth of lottery tickets, because I know last month I was so close to getting the lottery, one digit off, that I was just about to get it. And if I get $1,000 worth of lottery tickets this month, I'm guaranteed to win. That's not how the odds work, okay? But I want to explain this to you in an analogy so I can kind of connect this to you with the men that you're dating. See, this is what will happen with guys that you begin dating, some of them. Your relationship won't work out the first time. It won't work out the second time. And you'll constantly be going through problems in the relationship trying to make this work. He'll disrespect you, he'll flop on you, he'll ignore you, he'll ghost you, he won't treat you right, and all of these things will go wrong. But each time something goes wrong, instead of you saying, you know what, I'm realizing this isn't working out for whatever reason, even if I can't put my finger on it, and I'm just going to allow this relationship to fizzle out and die. What you're going to end up doing is saying to yourself, but I feel like we could, if we just fix this one thing, or I feel like I could just change him, if I could just change him in this one way and turn this around, everything would be different and he would be perfect and he would be my perfect man. So because you constantly feel like it's just so close that you could change one thing and everything would be amazing in your relationship, you continue to buy and buy more lottery tickets. And in this case, you continue to, for these lottery tickets, you continue to invest and invest and invest into this man, hoping that one day he'll make the change that's necessary for you guys to have a successful relationship. And you want to know what happens after you invest and you invest and you invest and you invest? Every time you feel like, oh, I was just that close to having a perfect relationship with this man. If we just could work on this one thing, or he could just change this one thing about his life or his job or the way he acts or the way he treats me, we could be millionaires. I could win the lottery and have the absolute perfect man. But the problem is, sis, that day never comes. And even some men will have you believing in the fact that that day is coming tomorrow, or the next day, or the next day, or the next day. And they'll constantly make you feel like, in this analogy, where you just lost the lottery by one digit. And it's just one quick little fix that will change your entire relationship. And in fact, that one quick little fix, the men will try to convince you it's just about to happen tomorrow. You know, those of you that be dating men with girlfriends, or that are married in some cases, they'll tell you, I'm about to sign the divorce papers literally tomorrow. I'm buying my ballpoint pen from Staples. I want to get a good one, black ink, really nice. And when I get my ballpoint pen from Staples, I'm going to sign my pretty signature on those pieces of divorce papers, and I'll be officially divorced from my wife forever. And continuously, on an ongoing basis, you invest and you invest and you invest and you invest, hoping that that day is going to come very soon. It's tomorrow. He's going to put the ballpoint pen on the paper. But what the smart and intelligent, tricky men will do is, when the lottery comes and they spin all those balls, he'll make you feel like you lost out on the lottery by one digit. And because you feel like you lost out on the lottery just by one digit, it gives you just enough hope, right? Just enough hope to invest $1,000 now, because you're so hyped up off the dopamine that I could have won. We could have been together. You almost got the divorce. You almost broke up with your girlfriend. You were just about to do it. But you did it because of this small little reason, but you're going to do it very soon. So I'm going to invest myself more because the day is coming. The day is definitely coming, and it never comes. You only deal with the men in your life that will show you what you're expecting to see right now. And if for whatever reason he can't show you what you're expecting to see right now, you abandon that man. Do not continue investing time and money. Sorry, I shouldn't say time, money, time and energy over and over and over again, and allowing him to convince you that you lost out on your lottery ticket by one digit. Number 5, you got to see that man angry. When a guy is happy, they're very good at giving you treatment that goes up when they're very happy. Okay? Happiness equals good treatment. Some men that you will meet, when they are upset, you will notice that your treatment goes down. And in some cases, what you're going to notice is that when that man is angry, his treatment of you doesn't just go down where you're no longer being treated like a princess and you're just a regular person. You'll notice that his treatment of you becomes disrespectful. He starts saying things about you that you've never heard him say. He starts talking to you in a way that you've never heard him talk. And he starts addressing issues that he has with you about things that you never even heard or knew that he had issues with. This is a very dangerous type of man, because what's actually happening is he's showing you how he really feels about you and what he really thinks of you. And see, here's the mistake, is that when this happens, little sister, guys will try to convince you that's not them. Oh, it's not me. I was just angry. Oh, it's not me. I was just upset. I was going through this. I was stressed out. I was my this and my sister and my mother and my job and my... Here's the thing though. That is really who they really are. And the thing about it is, even when they're angry or upset, whether it be at you or they're angry or upset at their life, it's very important for you to take notice of how he treats you in those moments. Because the reality of it is, in those moments, those are the most vulnerable times where you're going to get the rawest emotion and the closest to the feelings and thoughts that he actually has. Because see, when people are happy, part of the reason that this treatment of you goes up is because men are good at filtering their words and emotions when they're happy, okay? Because it's easy to pick out what you want to say, what emotion you want to show, send it through a filter, and then deliver it to you through his words and his actions, okay? When he's happy and everything is good. It's a lot harder to do that as a human being when you're emotional, when you're angry and when you're upset. See, when you're angry and when you're upset, for these men, that filter goes away. It disappears. There's no more energy to be able to take a thought or a feeling or emotion, filter it through everything else that makes it sound good and feel good, and then deliver it to you. So what ends up happening is you actually end up hearing a truer thought, a truer feeling, or a truer emotion from them. So what I want you to take notice of, not only when they're angry as well, right? We're going to also add stress here, family situations, we'll say work, and we'll say even things like when he himself is sad. You want to understand, what is the treatment I receive in all of these different emotional states? Okay, someone even said hungry. Yes, when your man is hungry as well, okay? Right? You want to understand, even if he's hangry, what is the level of treatment that I receive when you're in these range of different emotional states? Because that is going to represent to me how you really feel, what you really think, and how you're really prepared to treat me. Because it's easy for you to treat me good when you feel good. A lot harder to treat me good when you don't feel so good. Because that's when, for a lot of people and a lot of men, all of the excuses come. You're going to hear a lot of excuses from men when they're emotional. I can't handle my emotions. I was so angry at this. I was so angry at that. This upset me so much. That's what's really going to tell you more about a man than any gift he can get you, any date he can take you on, any amount of money he can spend on you, okay? Seeing how he treats you during these times will be the closest thing to the truth that you can possibly get to. So I say this to say, little sister, when you date men, never, ever, 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 ever assume that you know them until you go through the range of different emotions with them, that you're able to see them when they're angry, when they're stressed, when they have a work situation, a family situation, when they're sad, when they're crying. Get to know what your relationship is like and how he chooses to treat you when he goes through those emotions. Then you can make a decision after you learn that information and say to yourself, okay, I think I understand you a little bit better now, know you a little bit better now, and know what our relationship is really like. Number, career matters. So let's kind of lay this out in a chart here so that we can all be on the same page here. Now, I'm going to give you an example of two different type of career paths so that we can be on the same page and understand this better. So first, let's put here a math teacher up here. All right. And over here, we'll say a bartender. Now, what will a math teacher be doing, right? Math teacher, man, is going to be working 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. Pretty logical time to be working, right? He's going to have a set schedule that you can be aware of, know well in advance, okay, months in advance, in fact. He's going to be, in his career, interacting with kids, which means, for the most part, unless hopefully you're not dating no weirdo man, for the most part, his interactions on a daily and weekly basis with the children that he's teaching is going to be, appropriate, and he's just going to be teaching those kids and helping them. He's going to come home, and hopefully he doesn't take any of that baggage home with him, okay? Now, let's look at the schedule and the lifestyle of a bartender. So we'll just say working late night. Think about it with the math teacher, he's interacting with kids here. Who is the bartender going to be interacting with? Interacting with drunk adults. Let's also understand, for here in the math teacher, how does the math teacher get paid? The math teacher gets paid a salary, which means as long as the math teacher goes to work, does his lesson plans, does them on time, and do what he's supposed to be doing in terms of teaching those kids and being a good educator, he gets paid the same thing every week and every month. The bartender is working off of tips. So what does that mean? In order for the bartender to make more money, he's encouraged to interact with those drunk adults in a way that will get him more tips. So what does that inherently mean? He's got to flirt for more money. Now, I know this isn't a shocker to you, little sis, that bartenders have to flirt for more money or interact with drunk people. I know you know how bartending and teaching math works. But here's the thing that I want you to understand. When you meet a guy and you're trying to understand, is this someone that I should be investing my time and my energy into? One of the things that you need to be understanding and analyzing is the life that this man is living, is this conducive to a long-term healthy relationship, or is this a career path that I can foresee having a lot of issues sustaining a long-term healthy relationship in? Now, I'm not saying that all bartenders are bad people, or if you're a bartender or a server or something like that, you're a bartender because you're a bad person because you work in that industry. That's not what I'm saying. What I want you to understand, though, is sometimes when you meet a guy, you're going to have to, I shouldn't even say sometimes, all the time, when you meet a guy, you want to be factoring in as much information as you possibly can. And you also want to be realistic with yourself in understanding, before I have to experience these pains with you, what are the most likely pains that I'm going to experience in a relationship with you? Very important to understand that, because if you're not foreseeing that, if you don't have the foresight for that, or if you don't have the future thinking of what that might turn into, you will end up having to experience that pain through being in a relationship with him. So I say this to say, understand that the bartender's job, literally what he's meant to do, is to flirt for more tips. He's going to have to flirt with girls. He's going to have to get Instagrams. He's going to have to maybe in some cases exchange numbers, right? All under the idea that he wants more tips. He needs to get paid more, and he can't get paid more if he's not flirting, if he's not interacting, if he's not smiling and making people feel good. But this can become a very slippery slope for you, little sis, because when you invest yourself in a man that's in this place in his life, how are you supposed to set boundaries now? It's very difficult. And when you do want to set boundaries, how are you supposed to implement that when the boundaries that you want to set directly oppose what he's supposed to be doing at his job? Because then it becomes you versus his career. When you tell the bartender, hey, I understand it's your job to meet people and interact with them, but I don't want you flirting with the other women at your job. But it's my job. Yeah, I get it's your job, but you can't flirt with them because it's inappropriate and it's disrespectful to me. But if I don't flirt with them, I don't get tips. If I don't get tips, I don't get money. If I don't get money, I can't live. So then what are you supposed to do, little sis? You've just now invested your time and your energy into a man that you can't even set boundaries with, because his career or his lifestyle, we can even say in a more holistic sense, is not conducive to those boundaries. So when you're looking for men in your life that you want to meet and you want to grow with and you want to invest your time in, before you start investing your time into any man, have an understanding and an honest conversation with yourself. Is his lifestyle or career conducive to having a healthy long-term relationship? Or will I struggle to have to set boundaries in our relationship because of what he chooses to do as a line of work? If the answer to your question is I will probably struggle to set boundaries because literally his work is doing things that are boundaryless, then you probably should stop investing any more of your time or energy into those men. And I'm not saying that those men are bad, and I'm not even saying that they'll be living that lifestyle forever. But remember, you're not here to build men. You're not here to raise them from the dirt, and you're not here to wait around for men to be ready to build a long-term serious relationship with you. If you're looking for that, you need to be looking for that, and that specifically. Not allowing yourself to invest in men who are not living a lifestyle that is prepared for a long-term relationship. And then after investing yourself in with him and into him, then you start saying, but I don't like this, and we can't set this boundary, and I don't like this, and I feel disrespected in this way. You're always going to feel disrespected when his lifestyle is not conducive to being able to set boundaries. So career matters. And take that into account, career and lifestyle. Take that into account when you're meeting men, what their career is and what their current lifestyle is. Let's hop into imagine here when the men are talking to you and you're getting to know them. They're obviously going to be telling you stories. You're not going to be watching a video of their entire life. So when they're telling you stories, you have to understand. You have to understand. These are angel wings, okay? Don't be mean to me. You have to understand. They're constantly, when they tell you stories, especially at the very beginning, they're going to be painting a specific type of picture for you. And that picture is going to be that they're an angel. They're a good person. They're a kind person. They take care of people. Rarely are you going to get out of people, especially on those first couple of dates, that they're like this, okay? Rarely are they, that's like Mickey Mouse. Who cares? Rarely are they going to tell you that they are a devil, right? And I don't mean in a biblical sense. I just mean they're not going to tell you all of their bad and horrible qualities. They're not going to tell you all the ways you should be unattracted to them, or you should not want to be with them or not be in a relationship with them. Why? Because that doesn't serve them. So I say that to say, little sister, when you're hearing stories from men, when they're telling you stories of their life, their past relationships, where they've been, or even what they want with you and want in this relationship with you, what they want to build, I want you to take everything that they say with a grain of salt. You guys are laughing at my drawing. You think it's funny? Pay attention. You don't want to allow yourself to fall for the fact that because his story sounds so good, or he seems like such an authentic person, that there's nothing left to dig into. Stories, and especially stories about someone's past and the life that they lived since before they met you, are one of the most important foundational pillars to understanding that human being as they currently exist now, why they are the way they are now, and who they've been since they've met you. You need to get those stories straight. And a lot of times, those stories will never have all the key important details that you must understand from the very beginning. So never be satisfied hearing a guy tell you a story about his ex or his life or what he was doing before the first time on the first date. Don't assume because you've heard a story one time before that that's all you need to hear about the story. Understand that men that you meet and you go out on dates with will be inclined to omit things that make him look like a devil, to leave those things out conveniently, or in some cases completely lie about them or change the story about them to make himself look more like an angelic figure, make himself look better, make himself sound better to you. Why? Because you have nothing to actually go off of, no experience except for the stories. However, that's not good enough. And see, with time, when you ask the same questions over and over again, when you get those stories and you get details of those stories, or you go back to points that he mentioned in those stories and you ask them on different days, on different weeks, in different months, you'll start to get more and more pieces of the picture frame or the parts of the story that make him look like a not so good person. Because the feeling of wanting to present himself like an angelic figure after a while will eventually wear off, that he starts slipping up and telling you pieces that he didn't tell you before. So what I want you to do, little sister, is when you start getting to know a guy and he's telling you these angelic stories that, sound really good and he sounds really authentic to you, I'm not saying you call him out and tell him he's a liar. I'm telling you, be patient. Be patient with yourself, be patient with this relationship, and continue gathering more and more information. And if at any point you stumble across information or a story that doesn't seem like it makes a lot of sense, I want you to dig and dig and dig and dig until it begins to make sense. Never assume you know everything about a man at any point. At any point. Continue to be curious in your relationships enough to ask questions and get more information and get more understanding. Never be satisfied, because I promise you, the more information you gather, the clearer the picture will be, the more you'll know, and the more you know, the better of a decision you can make about yourself and your relationship, right? With all of that good, amazing information.